So let me ask you about this, because I write something and maybe you'll disprove, maybe in this maybe I'll be wrong. So I wrote a book recently and I said, as it relates to equity and uh, in our society, and I talked about reparations. I said we now have at our fingertips the technology to solve problems of previously insurmountable complexity. Let's use it. Let's feed in all the historical records and assemble whatever hard data we have. Who did the work? Who got the money? How many hours? How many dollars? Allow AI to extrapolate based on solid empirical evidence where that money went. And when we can calculate damages that include, and as any civil suit would, pain and suffering, loss of companionship, and other broadly accepted liability factors, we finally have the technology to solve the complex problem of reparations, and doing it by the numbers would force us to embrace a history based on irrefutable facts. Do you think I'm wrong? I said no more Black History Month, pat on the head, blah blah blah. But I mean, look, that those are my words. But do you think I'm wrong about being able to solve something as controversial and complex about that
Well,
as
first, Chris,
preparation?
I think what you propose can be done. I'm skeptical that our political leadership will actually embrace an analytical framework, because everyone comes at this with a pre-assigned bias. What you're describing is what we call a foundation model. In a
Mm,
foundation model, you take everything that you know and you put it in the model, and then it can answer questions that are informed about what it learned in the synthesis of all the data. So in your case, let's use slavery, racism, and discrimination globally. You could probably come up with some common patterns. The systems are particularly good at finding patterns that humans don't see because they see everything faster than we do. They're not smarter than we are, but they see it faster. They see 1,000,000 points where the average scholar can see 1,000 and I can see 10. So the ability to do technically data fusion across that means we will really understand how bad the suffering was, to the
mm,
degree that we have the sources. And also, you can ask it, where are the holes? Another good example is in humanities. Um, People spend years in the libraries looking at these ancient texts. Why in the world? Just feed all those ancient texts into the model and start asking it questions, because it can modernize its analysis and it's going to be a better analyst than you. So again, it makes the historian more accurate. It makes the person working on the price of reparations more worth it. What have you.
So you think it's possible, but you just think our political leadership might not allow that to happen.
In the last few years, it's pretty clear that facts are not as important as they should be.
Mm,
So I was always raised, speaking as a scientist, that you and I can disagree on what to do, but we don't disagree on facts
Facts. And on
and
reality.
and
Yeah.
on reality. And I think that as a society, we have to sort of recognize that critical thinking is important. I spend all day being pitched things, and I understand that advertising is trying to sell me things, and misinformation. Somebody's trying to convince me of something. So I am a natural skeptic, and what I do is I use Google to, somebody says, "Did you know that the women in Boston had a blue hair day?" Right? I'll make that up, and I would say, "Sounds unlikely. Let me check." Right? And then, of course, it's a joke. And then I say, well, you didn't fool me. So my view of information is that I have to be, as a citizen, armed with the tools of critical thinking, which is not the same thing as you and I may disagree on what to do about reparations, but we should agree that there were an awful lot of people who were really severely harmed.
Yeah.
Right. And we should actually have the data that says this horrible thing happened and this horrible thing happened and this good thing happened. And then we can argue about whether it's how we address it or whether we address it at all.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithm. And also, we'd love for you to become a subscriber. So hit that button too. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Eastern, so there's plenty of content for you to check out.